She was beautiful, her face and smile radiating youth and innocence. Even from where Kade stood, he could see she had blue eyes. Of course she did. Her skin was the color of cream and was flawless, a hint of pink in her cheeks betraying the chill in the air outside. She looked like a fairy tale princess who'd just stepped from the pages of a storybook. Kade stopped in his tracks. He'd unconsciously taken several steps toward her. What was he going to do? Ask her out? Yeah, he could see how that would go. Excuse me, you don't know me, and if you did, you'd probably run screaming in the opposite direction, but can I buy you coffee or dinner, then take you to my apartment and spend the next several days in bed with you? As a pickup line, it wasn't one of his better ones. Kade watched as she walked away down the hallway and turned a corner out of sight. It didn't matter. He could tell without even speaking to her that she wasn't his type usually being the kind that wasn't looking for more than a quick hookup where names were optional. A step above having to pay for it, but not by much. Kathleen looked like the kind of girl who liked flowers and slow dancing, who'd no doubt never had a hard day in her life, or any cause to ever hold a gun. She was the kind of girl you fell in love with and brought home to Mom. That caused a long-buried pang to echo through Kade, and he pushed the thought aside. Christ, what was he doing? Going all gooey-eyed and maudlin just because he saw a pretty girl? Obviously, he'd gone too long without killing someone. Maybe Junior. But no, Blane would get pissed if he killed that little snot. Not that he couldn't make it look like an accident, but Blane would know, and then Kade would have that to deal with. Kade took another sip of coffee, then tossed the rest in a nearby trash can. As he did, he heard screams and commotion coming from down the hallway, where Kathleen had gone. He followed the crowd, moving quickly through the press of people until he was able to see what the problem was. The girl, Kathleen, was being held hostage by a man wearing a rumpled suit and a desperate expression. He held a knife to her throat. Well, fuck. Kathleen's face was as white as paper, her eyes wide and scared as she gripped the lunatic's arm, trying to keep the knife from her throat. The guy was terrified too, but he was also deranged. A dangerous combination. Kade doubted he even realized how close the knife was to her skin. He was too focused on the crowd of onlookers and the security guards scattered in front of him. Kade glanced through the crowd and saw Blane standing to one side. Their eyes locked, and Blane gave a short, quick nod. Kade crouched and pulled his gun from its holster, careful to keep it hidden from those around him as he stood back up. His eyes narrowed as he surveyed the situation. Kathleen was lucky. She was short. Kade could get a clear shot if he was careful and quick. If Kathleen had been taller, there wouldn't have been anything Kade could have done. Out of the corner of his eye, Kade saw Blane moving, slow but deliberate. Kade would tap the guy to the head, and Blane would grab the girl, followed by a hasty retreat out the back exit. Problem solved. The guy's knife slipped, nicking Kathleen. People in the crowd gasped at the sight. The bright gash of red blood against her ivory skin made Kade forget everyone around him. Cold fury took over, and he instantly raised his gun to take aim. Kathleen moved suddenly, and Kade's finger twitched. He'd been a split second from pulling the trigger, but now she was free, the knife embedded in the man's side. He crumpled to the ground. Security guards swarmed around the man, obscuring him from view. There were shouts for an ambulance, and the crowd started talking and moving again, filling the hallway with noise and mayhem. But Kade only had eyes for the girl. She had retreated to the wall as far as she could get, and now stood looking shell-shocked. Her mouth was agape, her eyes unblinking, as she stared at where the man had fallen, as though surprised by her own actions. As Kade watched, her knees seemed